Aztec presentation. Today we're going to be looking at a few pieces of the Aztec Empire. As you may know, the Aztecs were one of the most dominant empires in Central America. The Aztecs were thought to have originated in northern Mexico as a nomadic tribe and to have migrated to central Mexico to Lake Texcoco in the 12th century. The Aztec Empire covered an impressive 80,000 square miles of land at their peak. The Aztec Empire was formed in 1428, but the Aztecs originated during the 1200s when the Aztecs were migrating. They saw an eagle sitting on a cactus and thought it was a message from their gods to settle there. The Aztecs lived in the city of Tenochtitlan from 1325 until their demise in 1521.
Tenochtitlan was a city of great importance for the Aztecs because it was the capital of their empire. Tenochtitlan was built on Lake Texcoco. They used riverways and canals because that was much more convenient for moving around items and people. Tenochtitlan was about 4 square miles wide with an estimated population of 200,000. In the center of the city was the Temple Mayor, the temple for Quetzalcoatl, the ballgame court, and the sacrificial grounds. There's also a school for both boys and girls. Boys would learn martial arts and combat to prepare them for battle. The girls would learn rituals, songs, and dances.
Another important city was Texcoco. Texcoco is situated in the central Mexican Plateau region. It was part of the Aztec Triple Alliance, Tlacopan, Texcoco, Mexico, Tenochtitlan. Texcoco is also a very advanced city known for knowledge and education. Texcoco was also the state of Mexico in southern Mexico from 1827 to 1830.
Guys, how do you say this?
Huitzilopochtli
Was the Aztec sun god. He was one of the 2 main deities of the Aztec religion. Drawings of,
Huitzilopochtli
usually show him as a hummingbird or an eagle, or as a warrior with his armor and helmet made of hummingbird feathers. And a pattern similar to that found in many hummingbirds, his legs, arms, and the lower part of his face was painted one color, blue, and the upper half of his face was another, black. He wore a feathered headdress and had a rounded shield and a turquoise snake. He also required daily sacrifices of human blood. Guys,
Metacutli
along with his female partner,
Omesahuatl
were the highest gods in the Aztec religion. Together they were also known as
Omediatl
and
Ometacutli
and
Omesahuatl
were the creators of the universe and the parents of the other Aztec gods, but they did not rule over these gods. According to the Aztec belief, he lived in the 13th heaven, which is also the highest heaven. Guys,
Ometacutli
was the only Aztec god that did not have a temple, and there was no formal cult active in his name.
Several years before the Spaniards arrived in Mexico, the city of Tenochtitlan had some unusual natural disasters occur between 1517 and 1519. The city had an earthquake and Lake Texcoco flooded. The Aztecs believed that this warned of the fall of their empire. On March 4th, 1519, the Spaniards landed in what is now Veracruz, and the natives greet Cortez with gifts, thinking that he was a god sent to them. On November 8th, 1519, Cortez and his men arrived at Tenochtitlan and were allowed in the city because the people thought that he was their god. Cortez quickly took control of the city and ordered the Aztec gods to be removed and replaced with Roman Catholic shrines. The Aztecs soon realized that Cortez was not a god and gave him golden gifts to encourage him to turn back, but Cortez did not accept. Cortez took Montezuma prisoner and ordered him to be killed. After this, the Aztecs revolted and drove the Spanish from the city. After this, the Spanish went off to other cities and made alliances with them, planning to capture Tenochtitlan. On May 26, 1521, the Spanish army reached Tenochtitlan and they started a war which only lasted a few months. The Spanish had many advantages, allowing them to defeat the Aztecs. A few of them include the Spanish had better weapons and armor, they had horses which terrified the Aztecs because they had never seen them before, and disease from the Europeans killed more people than even any army had ever. And that's why on August 13th, 1521, the last Aztec emperor surrendered to Cortez.
As for the Aztecs, one major accomplishment was education. Everyone got schooling, not depending on their rank or gender. They were one of the very first places to have this, because at the time most other places did not have education for everyone else, no matter their rank or gender. The Aztecs were also responsible for making lots of modern food like chocolate and popcorn. Popcorn was also used on crowns and headdresses. Chocolate was also used as a currency. They also came up with many more modern things like ball games, school, food, and gardens. They did have medications, but their ways were very strange and inefficient, and used certain bugs for clothes and food dye.
As we have said, the capital city of the Aztec Empire was Tenochtitlan. The city was built on a series of islets on Lake Texcoco, now present-day Mexico City. The Aztec Empire thrived in central Mexico. The Aztec Empire was based in the Valley of Mexico, a wide, high valley with an elevation of about 7,000 feet. The cities were surrounded by large mountains and fresh water-filled Lake Texcoco. The average temperature was about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, and crops grew well and people prospered. The coordinates of Tenochtitlan in today's world would have been about 19.4326 degrees north and 99.132 degrees west.
The Aztecs had interesting social classes. The highest was the leader, or the Tlatoni. They led the Aztecs and made the decisions. He had a palace that even included a botanical garden, 2 zoos, and even an aquarium. Then there were the nobles. The nobles also lived in Tenochtitlan. Usually they were relatives of leaders or former leaders. Next were the eagle nobles. These nobles are actually commoners, but impressed the leaders, so they became nobles. The Posteca were merchants who traveled around Mesoamerica. Sometimes the Aztecs employed them as spies because they knew their way around very well. There were also farmers and commoners that lived outside of Tenochtitlan. The Aztec slaves were very different from European slaves. Commoners could become slaves by needing to pay back debts. Being a slave was personal, not hereditary. This means that if you are a slave, then your children will not be slaves. You can even buy your own freedom.
Thanks for watching!
Thanks for watching our presentation. I hope you have a super day.